On Friday, Trump said he expected some exchange of territories between Russia and Ukraine. U.S. President Donald Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin will meet in Alaska next Friday to discuss the future of the war in Ukraine. Trump announced the meeting on August 15 in social media posts, and it was later confirmed by a Kremlin representative, who said the location was quite logical, given Alaska's relative proximity to Russia. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky stated that any decisions must include Ukraine, adding that he is ready to work with all partners for a lasting peace. The announcement came just a few hours after Trump hinted that Ukraine might have to cede territory in order to end the war, which began with Russia's full-scale invasion of its neighboring country in February 2022. "You are looking at territory that has been fought over for 3.5 years, many Russians have died. Many Ukrainians have died," Trump said on Friday at the White House. "It's very complicated. Something we will return, something we will exchange. There will be a territorial exchange, to the mutual benefit." The U.S. president did not provide further details on what this proposal would look like. However, BBC's U.S. partner CBS News, citing sources familiar with the discussions, reports that the White House is trying to persuade European leaders to accept an agreement that would give Russia control over the entire Donbas region in eastern Ukraine and retain Crimea. According to CBS, under the proposed deal, Ukraine would also relinquish the Kherson and Zaporizhia regions, which are partially occupied. Earlier on Friday, The Wall Street Journal reported that Putin had proposed a similar arrangement to Trump's special envoy Steve Witkoff during a recent meeting in Moscow. It remains unclear whether Ukraine and European allies would agree to such a deal, given that Zelensky and Putin remain far apart on the terms for peace. Zelensky has previously rejected any preconditions involving territorial concessions. In a statement posted on Telegram on Saturday, the Ukrainian president reiterated, "The answer to Ukraine's territorial question is already in the Constitution of Ukraine. No one will and can deviate from this. Ukrainians will not give their land to the occupiers. Any decisions that are directed against us, any decisions that do not include Ukraine, are at the same time decisions directed against peace," he said, adding that his country is ready for real decisions that will bring peace. "We are ready, together with President Trump, together with all partners, to work on a real and, most importantly, lasting peace, a peace that will not collapse because of Moscow's desires." A senior White House official told CBS that planning for the meeting next Friday is still uncertain, and there remains a possibility that Zelensky could take part in some way. Moscow has failed to achieve a decisive breakthrough during its full-scale invasion, but it occupies about 20% of Ukraine's territory. Meanwhile, Ukrainian offensives have been unable to push Russian forces back. 3 rounds of direct negotiations between Ukraine and Russia in Istanbul have failed to bring the end of the war any closer, and the military-political conditions for peace put forward by Moscow are seen by Kyiv and its allies as de facto capitulation of Ukraine. Russia's demands include Ukraine adopting neutral state status, significantly reducing its armed forces, abandoning its aspiration to join NATO, and lifting Western sanctions imposed on Russia. Moscow also wants Kyiv to withdraw its troops from 4 regions in southeastern Ukraine that are partially occupied by Russia, and to demobilize its soldiers. However, on Friday Trump said that the United States had a push to broker a trilateral peace agreement between the countries. "European leaders want to see peace, President Putin, I believe, wants to see peace, and Zelensky wants to see peace," he told reporters. "President Zelensky should get everything he needs, because he will need to be prepared to sign something, and I think he's working hard to do that," Trump said. Last month, Trump admitted in an interview with the BBC that he had considered 4 times the possibility of reaching an agreement with Russia to end the war in Ukraine. "I'm disappointed in him, Putin, but I'm not done with him yet." In recent weeks, he has toughened his stance toward the Kremlin, setting a deadline of Friday, August 8, for Russia to agree to a ceasefire in Ukraine, or else face more extensive sanctions. However, as the deadline approached, the economic threat quickly took a back seat to plans for Trump and Putin to meet in person to discuss a potential peace agreement. On Friday, the White House made no statements about additional sanctions against Russia. In February, Trump and Putin held a phone conversation, their first direct talk since Russia's full-scale invasion. The last time a U.S. president met with Putin was in 2021, when Joe Biden met him at a summit in Geneva, Switzerland.